We talked about tours. We've got some walking tours that are finishing up this week. We've got a bus tour on Saturday, and we've also got some tours coming up later in September about haunted history. So we talked kind of a preliminary deal about the ones coming up, but especially these ones this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Friday afternoon at 5:30, there'll be a walking tour of Springfield history downtown that will leave from the museum. And then at 10 o'clock on Saturday, there'll be one leaving from the footbridge on Commercial Street that'll talk about the history of Commercial Street. And then that afternoon at 1 o'clock, there's a Route 66 bus tour that will leave from Kentwood Hall on St. Louis Street to the old Kentwood Arms Hotel. So we talked about those, about how you can register to get on those tours. All you have to do is call us here at the museum, 831-1976, and get hooked up to take those tours. They're a lot of fun. They're interesting. The people that are giving the tours really are knowledgeable and able to answer questions and help people that have always been curious about why things are the way they are and the history of this place we call home. So we did that, and then we talked about the haunted tours that'll be late, like I said, later in September into October. We have both walking tours and then one weekend of bus tours that will cover a broader expanse of places that may be haunted, if you believe in that.
What kind of highlights are we going to see during a tour?
During the tour, you'll walk around downtown, talk about the architectural features of some of the buildings, about their past history, about why they were built where they were, and their impact on the community. And the same way on Commercial Street, starting right there at the footbridge. I mean, the footbridge was built so that people that lived north of the main line could safely cross over the railroad tracks and come to Commercial Street to do business there in the business district of North Springfield. So just little facts like that and interesting things that answer questions about, oh, I wonder why that was always that way. And then you answer it and they go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. How long of a walking tour is it?
The walking tours are just around an hour. They're about a mile long. And they're very pleasant, slow pace, good for anybody that's able to get out and walk a mile or so. And so a lot of interest there. And then on the bus trip, the bus tour is about an hour and a half. And it, as I said, starts there at Kentwood Hall and then tours the route of Route 66 through the city.
Gotcha. And so the haunted tours as well, will we see a different route and
a different route, different things to spot and look at, both on the walking tour and the bus tour. The bus tour, we might even stop in a cemetery and look at the graves of some of the famous people buried there. But I'll not get into too great a detail because I don't want to spoil the fun.
Gotcha. Well, any in particular highlights for that in particular tour?
I think you'll be surprised at some of the places that supposedly have ghosts, and others you won't. I was amazed at the number of ghosts that seem to pop up in theaters. I don't know whether it's the drama of the theater or the number of people that come through that building, but all of the old theaters in town seem to have their fair share of ghosts.
Gotcha. So you'll have a new episode next week as well.
Next week we've got Conrad Stump from the local history department at the Greene County Library. He's going to come on, talk about the services they offer and about all their help that they can provide for people doing research and things like that, and how we work together to flesh out the history of this area.
Gotcha. And when you're doing your show as well, you also kind of sometimes bring up like newspapers and
every week I go to newspapers.com and pull up the newspapers from this day or from the day of the show 100 years ago, and fascinating stuff and stuff that is impactful even today. Last week's show, one of the items was about they were getting ready to open the new mill on Finley in Ozark, which is now Bass Pro Shop's newest project there in Ozark, and it was opening 100 years ago to replace a mill that had burned down 2 years before, and so fascinating history about things like that.
Yeah. When was that?
Pardon me?
When was that?
That was 100 years ago, 1922. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Anything else we might have missed?
Oh, that's it. Just listen to us, and if you can, come by and see us here at the museum. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5, and on Sunday from 1 to 5. And if you'd like to call and talk to us, the number here is 417-831-1976.